Matt Rosen is the CEO and founder of Aleta. This is a technology consulting firm helping automate companies through AI. And it turns out that workers, well, I had a chance to talk with him. I'll let him explain all this. Matt, I know a lot of people are concerned that AI is going to take their job, and that might be one of the reasons a lot of people resist it. But resisting it actually could cost you your job, is what the statistics say.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely right. There's a base level expectation in the workplace that people are using AI to be more productive. You know, we've got 400 software engineers and data engineers, and we started training them back in 2023. And we have an expectation that they use AI platforms daily to help with their work. And obviously, technology is one of the first areas to be impacted by AI, but there's white collar work across the board that's going to be impacted. And if workers aren't learning and adopting these tools, there is a good chance that they're going to get left behind. At the same time, it's incumbent upon their employers to help train them on how to use these tools. And what's not happening is they're handing them a tool and not really showing them what to do with it. And that's why I think you're seeing some of these results that are out there in these studies.
You know, for a lot of us, when you say AI, they're thinking ChatGPT or Grok or something like that. This is something a little bit more involved than that?
No, a lot of companies are using, Microsoft Copilot. There's, Claude has an enterprise edition. ChatGPT has one. There's a tool called Glean. We have our own accelerator that we deploy for people, where it really is like an enterprise AI layer where you're talking to the data and documents and systems within your organization. But what happens a lot of times is people just hand someone a copy of Copilot, and it sits inside your office environment. But if you're not trained how to use it, it's not hooked up to the right data and information, it doesn't really give you much. In fact, I talked to a client yesterday who deployed it, was starting to use it, but wouldn't hook to some of their most important information. So it really wasn't giving them very good results. So it's kind of a mix of employees need to learn how to use these tools, and sometimes it's on their own, sometimes it's within the organization, but then organizations need to be good at giving employees access to specific information to their job within their corporation to really make the AI effective and useful. So it's really kind of a dual track that needs to happen for usage to go up and for people to feel more empowered and employers to get more out of the tools they're investing in.
Matt, have you found that companies are afraid to, or maybe concerned about putting certain types of information into AI because of what might happen to it?
Well, frankly, they should be. Any type of sensitive data like patient information, or we have a national defense client, so they obviously want to be very careful what they use AI for. And even, someone doing, complex engineering specs. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to just feed all your corporate data into, the free version of ChatGPT. You want to make sure that the data resides in your organization, and you're just calling them models when needed. In fact, there's a whole class of models where the data never leaves your organization. These different tools out there, the OpenAIs, Anthropics, they claim they don't train on your data, but there's no way to be sure. And I mean, a lot of times that's a company's, corporate secrets, or, if that information were released, could be considered a data leak. So, yeah, organizations definitely have to be careful, and that's why they need to train their employees, because otherwise we've seen instances where an employee has gone and uploaded a bunch of credit card or social security numbers to a free version of Claude to try and do some analysis. Like, no, you can't do that. That doesn't you can't learn to not do that without being trained. And so I think there's too much companies pushing tools and not enough education onto what you should and should not use AI for.
Yeah, this is, I guess, one of the big questions that people have. They're worried AI is going to take their jobs, but if you're not trained on it, then it really could take your job later on. And I guess the best way to learn it, can you learn it on your own and then take that information to work with you?
I think you can, but you have to be curious. You have to, there are online courses out there. I think, Anthropic, which is Claude, has a whole university of classes you can take that shows you how to use it. But, no one's going to do it for you. I mean, I do encourage, employers out there to come up with training. We came up with our own, but it's hard. It takes time. And so absent of that, workers, I think, have to take it upon themselves when they have time to play with these tools. Start with something small. Start with an email, start with, a personal spreadsheet or something. And if you have a role, you can go into one of these tools and say, I'm a teacher and I need help creating a lesson plan. How can you help me do that? What information do you need from me to help me in creating that? Whatever the example is, if AI, all these engines want to be used, they want to help you. And so if you are very clear in what you ask of them, and then you need to be ready to iterate. Sometimes the first thing they give you won't be any good, and so some people get a response like, well, this is crap, I could have done faster myself. But that's the wrong way to think about it. Think about it as a study partner or a peer. You're kind of bouncing things back and forth, and so you have to be willing to do a little bit of trial and error to get exactly what you want, and not expect everything you want the first time you try and then kind of give up and don't try again.
Matt Rosen is the CEO and founder of Aleta. It's a great company. It's a technology consulting firm that's helping automate companies through AI. Matt, thank you so much for your time this morning. I sure appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Have a great day.